What is up, my legendary disciples? Don't worry, I am not dead. Now, I know most people don't check the live streams, so I haven't posted actually on my YouTube channel for, was it 3 or 2 weeks? I don't know, but who knows when I'm gonna post this, to be honest with you. So, but anyway, don't worry, not dead. I've been live streaming a little bit if you want to check those out, but yeah, I've been more focusing on my craft recently. I just finished one of these wraps. I know, right? It's really good. I might show one. I might, yeah. I might show it to you after I'm done with this speech here about how the god makes beats. I know. This video, long awaited. Everybody's been waiting for it. Ever since I made how the god raps, everybody's like, how do you make beats? So, here it is. So, basically, let me get myself out of the way for you. I'm going to show you my amazing DAW. This is a digital audio workstation, otherwise known as LMMS. Now, what does it stand for? No idea. I mean, that's the DAW means digital audio workstation, like, you know, FL Studio, which means Fruity Loop Studio, that's a big one. Albion, I think that's what it's called. Logic, those are the big ones. This, although, is LMMS. DAW. And that's how I make all my music, because it's free, you know, it's relatively easy to use as beginners. It's severely functionality limited, though. There's not that many functionality in it, sadly. But it's still pretty good. I've been using it for 2 years. I've been making beats for 2 years compared to rapping for only 8 months. Not 8 years. That would have been crazy if I was rapping for 8 years because I'd be rapping since I was like, I don't know, 7. But anyway, yeah. So this is how I make beats, right? I open up LMMS. I have a pre-made beat done for you, one of my better beats, and I'm going to show you, we're going to break it down. Now, I will say, I'm not that technical in the beats. Like, I'm not going to be saying some like whack music stuff because I barely know music theory. I just do what sounds good to my ears. So don't expect like a very informational video. Like, you could follow what I do and you'll make this amazing beat yourself, but don't expect me to like don't expect it to be like a world-class video. Basically, this is just like a fun little thing. I'm showing you how I make beats. So first thing first, this is the effects chain. You know, you can add cool effects like a phaser, you know, phase in stuff, reverb, stuff like that. So the first thing I always do, and I think anybody should always do this, is add a declipper. Basically, what a declipper does is, like, you ever listen to those trap songs, right? And you know, like, what trap rap is, right? Like, where it's like, poof, 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 you have like the 808s and the snares just hitting so loud, right? And it distorts and stuff. Now, some people like the distortion, but there's good distortion, there's bad distortion. So what the declipper does here is very simple, right? The declipper, it gets rid of the bad distortion. Makes your kicks hit harder, you know, makes it so it doesn't like, you know, the static and stuff. You don't like the static. Static's bad. You can do attentional static, but I think if you're a beginner, you should always have a declipper. Oh yeah, by the way, I'll link LMMS in the description of this video because why not? So then you can like follow along with me on how I do stuff if you want to make this beat. So, declipper, right? Makes your beats sound good. So then I have it, I just pick out a bunch of sounds. Now this is like the end product. I know, it looks kind of like, this looks intimidating to be honest with you, but don't worry, it's not. So, what I normally do is, I start with the piano. Now this is Keystone Classic, right? Let me pull it up for you. Very popular piano VST. Now, VST is like a virtual instrument, you know? Like, so I'm not actually playing the piano in this. Like, that'd be kind of crazy if I had these skills. But this is like a piano VST, and I can link this into my digital audio workstation, otherwise known as DAW, or in this case, LMMS, and then I can make piano noises, like here. You know, I could do all this fancy stuff, the volume slider. I have no idea what any of this means over here. Like, but yeah, I can make sounds. And then I could pick multiple sounds. It has 5 piano noises. So there you go, yeah, those are the 5 pianos. I believe I had Keystone for this. Anyway, so then what I do is, I have it open. So pretend all these other stuff isn't here right now, because I can't really make it so. Actually, I could. Alright, here. So we'll look at when there's only one. So, now I have it right, open in piano roll. Then I got it, right? And basically for this, I can't really help you a lot. Sorry. I kind of just do what sounds good. Like here, I'll show you what it sounds like. So yeah, there you go, and then it loops. I will help you break it down though. So each grid, right, you have a four of these things go into a grid. Now, one grid is known as a bar. Now there's 4 beats to a bar. A beat would be this. Bing, 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 bing. That's a bar. So, basically, what you want to do is you normally want to have it so, like, you don't want to have overlap. Most of the time, overlap like this is going to sound bad. Like, let's listen to it. Yeah, that sounds bad. So normally, you want to have it so it's spaced out like this. And this would be, I think, a 16th note. This would be a 4th note. This would be an 8th note. And, these would be chords. A chord is when you have 3 piano keys at the same time. So this would be a chord here. Bum bum, a downwards chord. And then you have an upwards chord. These are octaves. An octave is when you have 2 piano bars away from each other, if that makes sense. But basically, yeah, this could take a really long time to like get it sound right, especially when you have no technical knowledge. I should really learn it, to be honest with you, but you don't need to learn that, right? I mean, it sounds nice, right? I will go through my thought process though, right? So like, normally the first bar, completely, and I mean completely, you're on your own, basically. Like, you just start coming up with a vibe. So I came up with a vibe, right? Dun dun dun, bum bum. So dun dun dun, bum bum. So I'm like, you know, what if it sound cool if I do the inverse of that? So then for bar 2, I did the inverse. And I'm like, okay, I kind of vibe with this. So then I'm like, alright, so let's have like a... So then... And then I'm like, alright, so then we got to go like a little bit faster. Let's go a little bit faster at the end. I mean, it's basically, you just gotta vibe with it, you know? Like, listen to some music, pianos, preferably with one piano. It doesn't have to be rap, it could be rock, it could be, I don't know what rock has pianos actually. But, yeah, it could be anything with pianos. Classical. I like classical music as an instrumental. I don't listen to classical music, but like classical music instrumentals are the bomb. So just listen to some of those, and you start getting a feel. And then eventually you can make something like this. And I will say, don't worry, by the way. Do not worry if your beats sound like trash at the beginning. Or even if, like, I still make bad trash. Like, sometimes I play this, right, and it doesn't sound like this, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? So don't worry, you're not always gonna make the perfect song. You're not always gonna make the perfect rap. You're always not gonna make the perfect beat. What matters is basically, are you making progress? Like, here was a huge progress stone for me. I mean, this piano sounds really good. This might be one of my best pianos. And we'll go into a few other beats, not just this one. So anyway, normally I start with the piano. I either start with piano, a flute, like I start with an instrument, right? Like a real instrument. I don't know why I'm doing that. Like, you know, it's virtual. And then I also forgot to say this. I normally set the tempo to BPM. I like the slower type rap beats. Like, for example, this is 85. The default is 140. This is what it sounds like when it's 140. See, it's way too fast. It's not groovy. I like the more groovy beats, you know, like with some bounce to it. So keep it at around 80 to 100. That's what I keep it as. If you want faster beats, then yeah. So this is how you change basically how fast the song moves. I think it sounds a lot better like this. So I normally just set it out. Like, I just pick a random number, to be honest with you. I don't even really think about it. I'm like, today I'm gonna make an 87 BPM beat. Or in this case, I'm gonna make an 85 BPM beat. So There you go. I have that done. So I have the piano, right? And notice that there's reverb. Now, it doesn't normally come with reverb. So then I have to pull the effects menu. And this is when you hit this add button. And this add button makes a whole new, I guess, effect row type thing where you can only give it to a certain track. Because this way I don't have reverb on the entire track. Because kicks normally sound bad, like kick drums, they normally sound bad with reverb. So don't have that. That's bad. So this way I can just keep it to only some specific things. So for example, I make the reverb. I like calf reverb. You can add an effect. There's all kinds of things. So you just type in calf reverb. You just do the same thing for the clipper, by the way. Don't worry. And then I'm like, all right. So then I click on it. FX. You right click and then assign to, and then you pick it. It's already assigned number 1, so I can't reassign it. But then that gives it the reverb effect. This is what it sounds like without the reverb effect. Notice how much worse it sounds. What's the second? I guess I would say it doesn't sound worse. It just sounds like it's subtle. It's like slightly worse. I wouldn't say it sounds much worse, but I've learned basically that when it comes to pianos, flutes, like any raw instrument, like adding reverb makes it almost all the time better. Like obviously you can go overboard. Don't add too much reverb. Like you can customize this, right? Like you could customize the decay and the gate and all this other stuff. Don't go overboard, obviously. But, you know, you can customize all of this. I normally just leave it default settings, it's good for me. So, now we have the piano, right? To me, like, that's the melody. This is the melody of the song now. So now, I normally do something real simple, right? I get for this instance, it's a snare drum. I just place it like this. This is at the end of every single bar. Or a grid. Like, if you put those on the grid, you know, it keeps, like, a good tempo. Like, boom, that's the end of the bar. So, like, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you count bars, by the way. You just count to 4. So I keep at the end of the bar. You could put them anywhere, really. I like keeping them at the end of the bar. And there's only one. Now, this is technically called halftime, because you're supposed to have it on the 2 and the 4, but I don't like having it on that. I like having my drums at halftime. So then, I add the kicks. Now, the kicks I really struggle with too. Like, we don't normally get perfect with the kicks. I think this is alright, though. You can listen to it. Like, as you can see, alone, it sounds kind of, you know, like it sounds weird alone. But don't worry. When you add it together with more things, it's good. I will say, you normally don't want more than 4 of them together. Normally. And you normally want some space, you know, give it some room to bounce. Because if you look at the head space over here, the CPU, you wanted to give it some bounce. So if you put too many, it's too much bass. You don't want that, okay? So, there's the kick. Then I add the hi-hats. The hi-hats are real nice. Basically, the hi-hats, they're high frequencies, right? So, like, because you got all this low frequency. You have a low piano, you have a clap, or clap slash snare, that's actually higher frequency, but it's like more in the middle. And then you have kicks. Basically, this is all hovering around the low frequency. You need something high frequency to level it out. So you add some hi-hats. I got a nice pattern where I have it panned to the left and the right. Oh, this isn't it. That's slightly not there. All right. Anyway, you have it panned to the left and the right. Negative 100 means left ear. Positive 100 means right ear. So, once again, I just make a cool pattern. Normally, want have silence, right? So it's like tick, silence, tick, silence, tick, silence. And you can make it however you want to. I choose the pattern like this. So as you can see, normally it's tick, silence. Now, sometimes what you could see I did is I have tick, silence, tick, tick, silence. Now, that's good. It's basically what sounds good. Now, you could break the rule. I want to have more than 3, though. Like, I'll show you how it sounds. Like, as you can see, it sounds pretty nice. I wouldn't break the rules. I mean, it's alright. But normally you want tick, silence. And then however you want to do it. Like, tick, silence, or tick, silence, tick, tick. You know, like, it's basically however you want to do it. Number 5. What was this one? Open hi-hat. I don't dabble in the open hi-hats, to be honest with you. Most of the time. This beat is different. This beat, I try adding a bunch of flavor, you know, to keep it from being stale. So here, I have it as a, you know, like right after the snare, to give it some oomph, you know, give it some extraness. And then, this is the same pattern, but different hi-hat, you know, keep it from being stale. And then, this is interesting. This is a reverse hi-hat. And I have it here. This is an effect. This is called calf pulsator. As you can hear if you have headphones on or a home stereo system, maybe even in the car. If you listen on the phone, you won't be able to listen on phone or TV, you won't be able to hear it. But if you have it on your headphones or like a surround sound system, you'll be able to hear the reverse hi-hats. They move around. Now that's because of the pulsator. I really like this. This gives it like, this makes it so your beat doesn't sound stale and generic. It sounds like it moves around in the headphones. It's really nice. I'm a staunch advocate of it. Now, some people, they like the stillness, but I like having my beats sound not as robotic, you know? So, there you go. Have that. And this is same thing. This is an 808 at the end. It was in a transition beat. So, we're gonna lay off of that one. So, you might be thinking, right? Alright, Alex. But these elements here, alone, sounded absolutely, I wouldn't say absolutely terrible, but they sound like they're not as good as you're saying. Why are you hyping this up so much? Well, I'm glad you asked, viewer. This is why. Let's listen to it all together. When it's alone, like the piano sounds good alone. All melodies normally do. See, look, now you got the kicks. Alright, okay, alright. See, and then you see what I'm cooking? See, all of a sudden, that snare starting to make sense now, right? Making sense with the kick, and then all of a sudden, yep, now the hi-hat's coming. See, now you're bouncing to it. See, if you got it up loud and you can hear it, like now you're bouncing to this, right? There's the open hi-hat. To be honest, I don't really know if I liked it. I added it, sound some extra, like, you know, layers to keep you engaged. Boom, boom, boom. But coming at all angles, you know? It's really high quality. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So, like, as you can see, while one element alone sounds when you put it all together, it's really high quality in my opinion. I mean, you gotta think about the big picture when you make this. Like, when you think, ah, crap, this one thing sounds pretty bad, hold on it, sit on it, and then put it in with a bunch of other sound effects. Because it sounds pretty good. I mean, you have to agree, right? So you may be wondering, well, this is all great, Alex, but how'd you get it to, like, sound like this? Like, how are you making them fade in and out? Well, my great viewer, that's where this comes in. So, as you can see, beat and bass lines. This is how I have it all together, right? This is how I make a beat, right? I have it all together. When I am done making it, because, like, as you can see, this is like the same thing all together. So, like, obviously, right? Once when you have it all together, now you want to, like, you know, actually make it. Because, like, yo, this sounds good, alright. But, like, after 20 seconds, you're practically sleeping. Because, like, the elements, and there's no changes, no variance. So what I do is right-click, copy, and then I add new beat slash baseline. And this gets me to beat slash baseline number 1. And then I paste it in there, and boom! I have a kick baseline, a snare bass line, and I do that. I do the copy thing each and every bass line for each and every individual element, or groups of elements, as you'll see later. A piano bass line, hi-hats bass line, because notice if I only had the left side and I fade into the left side, it would sound weird. So, left and right, keep them together, just my opinion. And then, open hi-hat, and then, variance. Yeah, it goes all the way to the end. And this way, then you can actually add them. As you can see, they're I believe 10 seconds long. Add the block, boom, boom, if I want one here. Oh, normally, you don't want this normally, like, same thing like piano. You normally want them in line most of the time. There's a few exceptions. To delete them, you just middle mouse click. It's very simple. And that is the beat. Now, you may be thinking, well, this is great, right? But how do you rap on it? And that's an amazing example. And I have amazing news for you. As I shown in God vs. Alex, God vs. Alex is the name of the rap I'm doing. Now, as I shown how the God raps, good news. I've shown this beat before. You may be thinking, I've heard this beat before. Well, yes. I have it right here in music. Where is it? God vs. Alex. Dang it, I always do that.
I never thought the time would come when the one I spawned dawned demise. I have been advised not to create the great flaw that would gnaw at me slowly till the last straw, breaking my will, hindering it to a crawl. Yet all I saw was greatness against the heinous barrage of life, hiding in a mirage, being that fraud of a god facade. Yes, this is the rapture. A fracture my whole formula, pouring my soul into orchestras. On a warring tour, I feel it in my vertebra, my spine, as I line these rhymes across this page. This is where I end. That pretend deity is just thee and me, in a diss to sobriety against the other. Usher in God versus Alex, the pretext of being immature. I am
see this open hi-hat?
Insecurity. Need some clarity. Without me, who are you? I knew rapper as white as glue. Same bland,
like now it's moving. It feels good. It feels lively.
Grand rise, baptized in real lies. Do you feel wise? I am the lyricist and near the cyst. You, time to drop and pop you from existence. With me, we have went the distance, fighting resistance, having people assist us, proving we are not equal. The sequel to Eminem, gemming them.
Okay, so you get the point, right? So it's interesting, right? Because I created this all from scratch, all from just beat kits I had in my mind, because you can load any type of sound in here, right? You can load your friend screaming. And anything you want to think, you can load it in here and then make it. You could tune it up, tune it down in chords. It's I'll start from this, and I got a real rap on it. And if you look at how the God raps, you'll know how I rap on this beat as well. Shameless plug, I know, but I don't want to make this video 8 hours long going into my whole process. So, that's just one beat, right? So you may be asking, well, this beat's alright, but I want a hard beat. I want a diss track type beat. I want something that's, that just gets you riled up. Well, I'm glad I came prepared then, because I have another God vs. Alex beat from the same track that I want to show you. It's very simple, alright? I know. Welcome to beat 138. And, oh yeah, all these are beats. This is 2 years worth of progress right here on beat making. 2 years I've been beat making, and I'm as you can see, they're starting to get good. I'm showing you the cream of the crop. Obviously, I'm not gonna show you the complete trash ones, but I don't always make good beats, but still, I'm getting pretty good. So you may be asking, I want something hard. Well, I got something hard for you. Here it is. So there you go. As you can see, tempo-wise, Still 84 BPM, like within the 80s range, 80s to 100s. That seems to be the sweet spot that I personally like. So, this is technically a lot more complicated, but at the same time, a lot more like simple. So, this one, I got the declipper on. This is the master track. The master track means all the beats, all the sound effects, anything you think of, all together. So here, I have the declipper, standard, but also a bass enhancer. And what the bass enhancer does, there's treble and there's bass. Hi-hats and higher frequency stuff. So like hi-hats or higher frequencies, they go with treble. Kicks or 808s go with bass. Like bass is low frequencies, treble is high frequencies. So what bass does is it like makes more rumbles, like when you feel it, brrr. And I want a big thumping beat, the type of beat that you play and starts thumping. So I had a bass enhancer, make the bass things more stronger. And I was like, you know what? Let's start off with a nice 808 bass line. Because this is the first rap. This I don't normally dabble in bass lines personally, but this one, I had to make an exception. So, I'm like, bass line. So I made a beat called 131 that had this sort of thing, but it wasn't as good. So I was like, I want to polish beat 131's 808 bass line. So I came up with something like this. So, as you can see, dun 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 dun, so you have like a big menacing rise, right? Like a dun dun dun, and then to go in the next bar, dun dun, like a nice transitioner, like dun dun, and then dun dun dun. Basically, not get stale. It's hard to explain once again. Can't really explain to you in big musical terms. Just use these things, We were all created with these things. Why don't you use them? Why use this when you can use these? So, as you can see, it sounds pretty good, right? One thing with 808s is I do not recommend stacking them. Because, do not make octaves out of them. Because they're so, and I mean so, low frequency that it will distort. Because there's multiple, so don't do that. Now, if you load your 808s like this, right? You might notice there's clipping. So what I did to stop the clipping is I looked on a YouTube tutorial because I got the same thing. It was really frustrating. So I was like, oh my god, how do I stop this? Well, you go into this, you go into the options, right? It's kind of confusing. I don't really know how to describe it. So you go here, you click on it, and then you click on like this thingy, and then you turn up the amplitude, which I don't know what that does, to be honest with you. It makes this thing more green. And then you just up the attack a bit. The attack, I guess, makes it so like the higher the attack, the lower stuff sounds. So technically, I made these 808s a lot deeper than they're supposed to sound. As you can see, orange means it's about to clip in the CPU usage up here. And red means it is clipping. Green means you're good. I kind of like about to clip, to be honest with you, because about to clip sounds really good. So, basically that gets rid of the clipping noise, makes your 808s deeper, more rumbly, sounds better. I don't know why. LMMS is the only DAW I think that does this. Probably like a free open source type deal with it. It has its quirks. Like I said, limited functionality, weird bugs like this. Don't worry. Highly worth it. I'd recommend you to do LMMS before you go into FL or something. So, then, because, now this is when it becomes a lot more complicated. Because I have the 808 so deep, right, I can't add a piano. I can't add anything else. I'll show you what happens if I do add a piano. Because if I have the piano running with the really, really, really deep frequency 808s, it sounds like absolute garbage because they clash with each other. We'll just do something like this. Boom. We'll do something very simple. We'll just have like this. Play. see, it clips with the piano and it makes the piano sound terrible. So I had to like think way outside the box for this because like before I had sound like this. Oh, this is how you can mute individual tracks, by the way. You can hit the green button. I had sound like this. And I'm like, yeah, alright, this sounds pretty cool, alright. And then, you know, I was patting myself and batting, rubbing off my shoulders and stuff. But I was like, where do we go from here? Because, yes, I'm doing really good, right? Really well, grammar. Doing really well here. But I try to add a piano, sounds like garbage. I try to add anything else, sounds like garbage. So I'm like, okay, let's add a clap. Let's do like what I normally do. Something really easy, get the mind flowing. Now, technically this clap is indeed doing the same thing as piano, but it's so short, and I got like a rougher sounding clap, that it's barely noticeable, right? So I got this sound, because I had to like figure it out, right? Because like the clean claps are like, that would distort. I need something like really rough sounding. So I got that. There we go. You know, obviously it's distorting a little bit, but who cares? Then I'm like, okay, let's do something hard. Let's start with the beat, like with the kicks. Now, if you are an astute observer, the kicks are in a grid formation. Personally, I think it's easier. Like, if you notice, this is beat 138. The last beat was 135. After beat, like, 136, I kind of realized I think it's easier to work with kicks in a grid formation instead of just clicking the square. Why? Because you can visualize it better. Like, I know you're supposed to, like, hear music, but, like, you can, like, look at this and, like, think, so this one's obviously gonna be deeper than this one. This one's gonna be higher. And you could get, like, a good pattern, too. Like, because you can see it goes kick, dun, dun, kick, dun, dun. When you're looking at the squares, you can't really get that as easy, at least for me. So, personally, I think it's easier. So, you know, it's making it easier to make a melody. Because, like, when you open the piano roll, you're making melodies. Now, that's what you're trying to do with a kick. You're trying to get a kick melody. So, personally, like I said, I just do something until it sounds right. Now, you don't want... Normally, you want at least a 2-bar loop, because that way it doesn't get stale for the kicks. So I tried to make something that didn't sound robotic, sounded original, sounded nice. I came up with this. Obviously, I had a bass enhancer, right? So it was already... It was really low, right? It was like, whoa, really low. But... if you notice, I also have a compressor and limiter. Because I was like, okay, it's still getting distorted, which is really bad. Because I knew if I couldn't add kicks, the track was ruined. So I used my limited music knowledge, and I threw a compressor and a limiter on there. What does this do? Well, to my very, like, layman's terms, because I have no idea really either, a compressor basically grabs the sound waves and, you know, tears it out, makes it louder. This way, like when you add a compressor on anything, it makes it sound louder and I guess more natural. I have no idea. I don't know, man. I'm just here. And a limiter cuts off the top frequencies, I believe. So, like, you know, like if something's like 1,000 hertz, boom. Anything that's 1,000 hertz or higher, cuts it off. So basically what that does is it helps it so it doesn't get distorted as much. So as you could see, it sounds like this. As you can see, it does sound a little different because the 808 still mess with it, but not as bad as before. Because before, the 808 would completely wash it. Like, you couldn't even hear the kicks. Like, the 808s would just wash over it. So I'm like, okay, it still sounds good, but I would like some higher frequencies. Now, obviously, working with this was pretty hard, so I had to find some, like, absolutely whack sauce hi-hat. I came up with this. As you can hear, it is really getting distorted, but remember at the beginning of the video when I was talking about good distortion and bad distortion? Now, I personally normally don't like distortion, but this is enough distortion where I think it sounds pretty good. As you can hear, like, it sounds nice, and as you can see, like before, if you're listening on headphones or surround sound, the hi-hats are moving around. Yeah, here it is. Pulsator. Moves them around, obviously, and there you go. pierce through the veil, because if I have it off, it more blends in. I had to use all these effects. I had to think outside the box. This was a really good beat in my opinion. As you can see, like, you really vibe with it. And as it was like a midway beat, I don't have anything that goes into it, except these. Now this is for the bum bum bum, like for a transition. I'm not gonna go over transitions right now. That's too complex for this video. So you're like, alright, Alex, you're all talk, no bark. Let's go, let's show ya. I want to see you rapping on it. Well, here it is, God vs. Alex, same track we were listening to.
Write this in your lore. After I'm done, there'll be one remaining. I am aiming for your temple, so tremble like this instrumental. I know what you fear, so drear and get grow wit. This. No! You are the source of woe, and we all know it. Trying to grow wit. I noticed you omitted some facts, so relax as time elapsed while I commit deicide.
If you can hear the difference,
cry the skies,
I turned down the...
Let's go back to the rap tracks on Deception.
I turned down the beat volume, if you notice. It was too loud, rumbling. It was affecting my own voice when I added in there, so I had to turn down a bit.
Entertainment, then you did containment. Hit those forbidden tracks, written with hate, I believe. 3 tracks up your sleeve, so please don't go hard, thinking you are guarding me from demise, causing an enterprise in the industry. You are in the sea as well. Personal hell binds in your mind, just at a different angle, tangled in your own veils. So hail this odd god, conceals his true ideals. All those internet ordeals, you had to interject, defend your honor.
So, yeah, there you go. These were the, like, basically how I used to follow a flow was I would just end my rhyme on a snare. So it's like, I got too many dimes, snare, like dimes on snare, with all my rhymes, snare. Apparently that's wrong, off flow. I think I was on flow for both these tracks though, because I'm just built different when I rap, yo. But yeah, these were the 2 beats I wanted to go over. If you want like an in-depth, I guess, live Alex experience on how I make beats, check out stream number 3, I believe. Yeah, stream number 3 with the help of Emerald Dev and MacDonald. I made a beat. You can see like the beat creation process live, how I go through it. Took about 2 hours. So like, this takes a long time. Like, don't just think, yeah, I'm just gonna throw in some sounds, it's gonna sound great. No. You gotta think about it, basically, right? It's not always gonna be great. It's not always gonna be amazing. But when you do strike gold, it sounds amazing. Use it in my tracks. Recently, I've been getting kind of lazy, right? Like these tracks here.
You are a goner, a bomb.
Are my beats. But the tracks I've been using are YouTube beats. I know, I should be making songs all by me, but the YouTube beats sound good. They sound so good. And like I said before, I'm gonna show you that as a secret. This was a secret for anybody that's still staying. I'm gonna show you the rap I just completed. It sounds really amazing. It's by a YouTube beat, so it's not all by me. I know it's a beat making video and I'm not showing my own beat, but hey, it's a secret. This is gonna release sometime in like October or something, I have no idea. But here we go. Alex can rap.
Tired of all these frauds, whether it's God or the squad. Time to end this war. Dis 4 coming in store.
Jado Styles, check that guy out. This is the guy that made the beat. I did not make this beat, just take that off. That's just what I'm working on for any of my true fans that want to hear it.
I am greater than all my haters. I leave all odd, better than that god. To prove it to y'all, I'm moving to brawl. A war on 2 fronts, my fans are my students. Here we are, verse 1, dedicated to the dumb, numb puns of our lives. These guys who have no wives, they live in complete lies. They dive deeper in despair, weep in their small wee lair. The only glory they can find is to make the scene gory in mind. Blind to any divine decently, they sneakily ruin someone's day. Pray that slaying any and all joy puts them one step
So they put on a macho aesthetic, completely cosmetic, synthetic, allergenic to a good society, thinking they stood almighty. Well, we could tell by this rap, whether they can hit or slap, they don't have wits or crap. Whatever they can think to say, don't ever give them the wink of day, because at the end of today, they truly wish they were you. I am greater than all my haters. I leave all odd, better than that god. To prove it to y'all, I'm moving to brawl. A war on two fronts, my fans are my students. I am greater than all my haters. I leave all odd, better than that god. To prove it to y'all, I'm moving to brawl. A war on two fronts, my fans are my students. Verse 2, going after you, that true scared coward. I will leave you snared, soured, powerless. Then in your cowardness, I will reign supreme. Face it, you are a meme, a slowly fading regime, nowhere to redeem. So it seems, forgotten, rotten, what you truly fear, what you smear others to be smothered in views. Don't dare confuse, I'm not down in the blues. You just can't lose. Face the music, stop making stuff up. Enough is enough. Drop down, kiss the ground, feel safe and sound. All those flaws that you labeled are all fables. So let's pause, because you are out of straws to build that there gilded man. So let's take a look at yourself and think, where do I stand? I am greater than all my haters. I leave all odd, better than that god. To prove it to y'all, I'm moving to brawl. A war on two fronts, my fans are my students. I am greater than all my haters. I leave all odd, better than that god. To prove it to y'all, I'm moving to brawl. A war on two fronts, my fans are my students. So, yep, that's the song I've been working on. That's the song I literally just finished before I recorded this. Like, it gave me the energy. I'm like, you know what? I did that. That sounded amazing. Flow was on point. It gave me the energy, you know, I might as well give back to my fans and make this how the god beat makes. So, there you go. I did not make that beat. Check out Jado Styles on YouTube for the type of beat. I believe it was like the flute beat, his like 1,000 flutes thing. It was really good. Like, I knew I had to rap on it. It's easier for me to flow on the rap. As you can see, my flow is a lot better. To any of my haters, ooh, if you listen to the lyrics, as you can see, I'm getting a lot better. So, let's do the outro. Make myself feel big. So, thank you all for watching. I am God Alex Gilbert, and this was How the God Beat Makes. I really hope this was helpful to you. Now you know, like, the behind the scenes on how I beat make with my LMMS DAW. If you want to see me, like, go through the actual process, check out Livestream 3. And it was with Emerald Dev and MacDonald, and we made a beat live. It was really great. I think the beat sounded pretty nice. It was with some help. It took about 2 hours to make. Pretty nice. Next, I'll probably do how the god makes his covers. Like, you know, those amazing covers on the YouTube thumbnails and videos. I'll go through how I do that. I hope you all enjoyed this amazing video. I hope you are liking the behind the scenes video. If you have any behind the scenes videos type topics that you want me to go with, just comment them below. This was God Alex Gilbert, and keep on listening to my music, my disciples. Hope you have an amazing day. Peace out, people.